June 28, 2024 was a bit of a surprise when it came to the intensity of thunderstorms. The day prior, a promisingly stormy forecast for our area didn't play out anywhere how we expected it to. However, June 28th more than made up for that lack of activity. With nearly 20 special weather statements, a half dozen severe thunderstorm warnings, and even a confirmed tornado in Duval County, this was easily the biggest day for significant weather we saw in late June. We have a lot to cover today, so get comfortable. Before I jump into the weather on June 28th, I would like to take a brief look back at the day prior, June 27th. My reasoning behind this is I want to show you just how differently two similar setups can play out. The overall synoptic setup for June 27th was very similar to the previous 4 days we've covered on First Coast storm tracking. A strong southwesterly flow would lead to a dominant Gulf Coast sea breeze. As expected for a summer day, it was once again very hot. Thankfully though, temperatures were not expected to get hot enough area-wide, or for long enough, for a heat advisory. At home, our highest heat index of the day was around 116 degrees, which was recorded at 3 p.m., and that was around 10 degrees lower than the previous day. Despite the relatively weaker daytime heating compared to previous days, hot temperatures combined with an extremely moist atmosphere, with PWATs reaching up to 2.4 inches at times, create yet another day of strong thunderstorm potential. At 1 p.m., you could see that the atmosphere was already in pretty good shape to start producing thunderstorms. By 2 p.m., the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville issued their afternoon area forecast discussion. They were predicting that the highest chance of thunderstorms, especially strong ones, would be split across 2 areas of focus. The first near a surface cold pool in southeastern Georgia. The second area with strong storm potential would be along the I-95 corridor of the First Coast. The progression of thunderstorms was expected to play out very similarly to previous days as well. The Gulf Coast sea breeze would get an early start, developing showers and thunderstorms to our west. Eventually, the sea breeze, along with its associated showers and thunderstorms, would push east into our part of the forecast area, merging with pre-existing cells and developing new ones off the collision of the sea breezes. Regular garden variety thunderstorms are expected elsewhere, with the potential for strong to severe storms within the aforementioned focus areas. With all of this set in place, you'd think it would have been another slam dunk day for thunderstorms, right? It was around the area, but not for here at home in Clay County. Taking a wider look at the radar, we could see that showers and storms started fairly early in the day out west, approaching I-75 by 11 a.m. This first wave of showers and embedded thunderstorms would weaken and slowly dissipate as it approached our area between 12:30 and 1 p.m. Meanwhile, heavy downpours and thunderstorms began to develop again far out to our west. A few strong coastal thunderstorms formed between 2 and 3 p.m., but the main bout of heavy thunderstorms was about to approach the cold pool. The showers and storms would continue to develop along an outflow boundary, with no particular cell getting very long to develop. Most of these storms affected areas north of Clay County, ranging from Jacksonville up to Brunswick, Georgia. By 5 p.m., most of these storms had cleared out. Our remaining outflow boundary from previous thunderstorms would shoot south along the beaches, helping to produce a few brief downpours and quick thunderstorms. By 7 p.m., all was quiet again on the First Coast. Taking one last look at our local area on June 27th, you'll notice that much of the showers that formed around Clay County did not develop into very tall storms, and were not particularly notable. However, the same can't be said for what happened on June 28th. As previously mentioned, the synoptic setup between June 27th and June 28th was extremely similar. So much so that it was even pointed out in the first area forecast discussion issued on June 28th. Once again, southwesterly flow would funnel in moisture off the Gulf of Mexico, helping to bring PWAT values up to over 2 inches area-wide. This flow pattern would also lead to a dominant Gulf Coast sea breeze, with showers and embedded thunderstorms starting early in the day. Strong daytime heating was once again present, with our local feels-like temperature maxing out at around 120 degrees. Thankfully, due to more consistent cloud cover and rain showers than previous days, the temperature was kept fairly in check after around 1 p.m. Despite the more persistent cloud cover, surface-based CAPE values were still able to reach upwards of 3,000 joules per kilogram area-wide for much of the afternoon. Mixed layer CAPE values would hover between 2 to 3,000 before falling off quickly in the early evening. With humid air in place and an unstable atmosphere, it was only a matter of time before storms began to fire. We would see multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, with the first one occurring around 1 p.m. I was in Fleming Island at the time when a line of heavy downpours began to move in from the southwest. A cell over Green Cove Springs was producing some lightning, but there was no clear line of sight towards the lower portions of the storm. However, I was about to get in on some of the rain. Over the course of around 15 minutes, a downpour would quickly develop off outflow from surrounding storms, before collapsing just as quick as it had appeared.
Well, I hope you can hear me. It's June 28th, 2024. We're having yet another day of showers and thunderstorms along the First Coast. I just got off of work, so I didn't really have much time to plan for any of this. But there is a thunderstorm passing to the south of our hometown right now. Can't really head back down there at the moment, so I'm just trying to see what I can see from here. I've seen 2 lightning bolts. I'm just kind of hoping to catch one more. Well, I actually have the camera on. There's a long line of showers, and there was some lightning directly to our south, but now the cell is starting to show off more towards the south and to the east, but I really don't have a good way to see that. So, yeah, see what we can do. Huh. It might actually be moving up north. Yeah, it looks like it. Huh. Saw a flash come out of the southeast. So it looks like a cell that has a little bit of juice to it is about to push north into like the Fleming Island area where I am. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens. I'm gonna go sit in my car though because there's been lightning nearby and I want to also eat my food. Looks like the rain's gonna be here pretty soon, so I guess I'll take the camera to the car and record that way. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, yeah, it just shows on radar now that randomly just a really heavy shower popped up out of nowhere, like right to our south, aka the viewing angle where the lightning would be, which is funny. Well, unlike yesterday, we're at least getting some rain today. Question is, when is that shower going to move in? And is it going to start putting off lightning? Starting to see a little bit of mist on the horizon. I think the rain might be coming. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera, but if you see the tree line further down, I can hear it coming. Do you hear that? Uh-oh. I'm gonna get ready to roll the window up, but you can see it come in. Yeah. All right, rolling the window up. Big ass was found in raindrops. Don't know if we're gonna get like whiteout conditions like the other day. There we go. Damn. There's some big sounding raindrops. Wow. Dude, those are huge raindrops. Oh, there's some thunder. Maybe we'll see some lightning. I can barely see out the window now. Sit and ride this one out. Yeah, not a lot of lightning occurring with the with these cells anymore. Yeah, it seems like no dice on the lightning this time. But that was a pretty cool shower still. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording here because I forgot my portable battery today, so I'm kind of on a bit of a limited charge with this camera until I get home. So I don't really think we're gonna see much, and if something happens after I turn the camera off, well, that sucks.
After the brief rain shower, I continued to monitor the radar to see if there were any more opportunities for me to see lightning. I noticed a storm a few miles to the north of Fleming Island moving towards Lakeside and Orange Park. I decided to head a little bit to the west to a small bridge that overlooks a branch of Black Creek. I recorded for a few minutes, but unfortunately did not see any lightning strikes. A flash did show up on camera, but no bolt. As the afternoon continued, severe weather would become more of a common occurrence around the First Coast. For us in Clay County, we would see a brief lull in activity after 2 p.m. However, activity was just starting to ramp up in other parts of the First Coast. At 2:20 p.m., a tornado warning was issued for parts of Duval County. This storm cell would go on to produce a brief tornado, but we will cover that in greater detail later in the video. By 3 p.m., a large portion of our local area was beginning to dry out from the first wave of showers and thunderstorms. That wouldn't last very long, however, as another strong wave of thunderstorms was beginning to approach the First Coast from the west. This cluster of multiple thunderstorms was given a special weather statement at 4:22 p.m., with the primary hazard being wind gusts of 40 miles per hour. The cluster would continue to work its way eastward towards the St. Johns River, as it was given another special weather statement at 5:01 p.m. A little before 5 p.m., we decided we were going to try and get some storm footage and go out on a chase. With the storm already moving towards us, it was more about finding a decent vantage point rather than actually chasing after the storm. I had the idea of heading to a bridge that connects Fleming Island to the rest of Clay County, one that leads into Orange Park. With the storm moving quickly towards us, we raced our way up to the bridge. The storm became severe warn while we were driving, and we got into our viewing position with a few minutes left to spare. Looking back on that day, I think we would have seen more lightning staying at home. However, the view we got of the storm approaching from the bridge was truly mesmerizing.
Holy moly. Look at that beast! That's crazy.
We got into position for recording at around 5:30 p.m., with rain taking another 15 minutes to reach our location. The storm was moving from west to east at around 25 miles per hour, according to the aforementioned severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. In the background, you'll see the footage of the shelf cloud, and it was quite the nasty looking storm. While that plays, I want to take some time to go over the radar presentation of the storm, as it was definitely one of the more unique storms I've seen here in Florida. Rewinding the radar back to around 4 p.m. that afternoon, we could see a line of storms beginning to move through some of the counties to the west of Clay, such as Alachua, Union, Baker, and Bradford. Noting the echo tops, you could tell that this line is made up of multiple different thunderstorms, each with their own different heights. Towards 4:30, 3 different cells in the cluster managed to have cloud tops upwards of 50,000 feet. This is also around the time where the radar presentation gets extremely interesting. Towards the northern portion of the storm cluster, an outflow boundary can be seen shooting out to the east. Almost immediately, new storm cells begin to fire, rapidly growing tall and producing heavy rainfall. These new cells seem to begin to dominate and merge with the line as the previous thunderstorms slowly begin to shrink. This process repeats again towards 5 p.m., just as the line begins to enter western portions of Clay County. Within 10 to 15 minutes, the leading edge of the line seemingly reforms itself and begins to take on a bit of a bow shape. This can indicate strong gusty winds and was likely one of the reasons the storm was given a severe thunderstorm warning. By 5:30, which was around when we got onto the bridge to record, the line was beginning to lose a lot of its organization. The bowing segment begins to break down, and within 15 minutes, much of the heavy rain north of Middleburg and Fleming Island begins to break down. Notably, there was a significant decrease in cloud-to-ground lightning, which was occurring very often within the line just 30 minutes prior. Most of the heavy rain and the highest cloud tops began to shift further south into Clay County, closer to Green Cove Springs and south of State Road 17. Around 5:40, we moved further down the bridge and back towards our car. We almost got caught out in the rain as RadarScope randomly decided to not update the radar for about 10 minutes.
That weather station put some work up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just noticed the radar hasn't updated in 15 minutes. Update, please. What's going on? We gotta go. Why did it do that? Oh my god, it's like...
After we realized what happened with the radar, we rushed back to our car and got prepared to face the leading edge of the storm. We were both surprised at how mild the wind and rain ended up being, but with the hindsight of the radar scans we just went over, it makes a lot more sense.
So, the radar didn't update for us for about 15 minutes, so it turns out the leading edge was about 3 miles away from us?
Yeah. We got back in time, though.
Yeah, we're going to have to sit it out, but...
I mean, that was the plan already. Everyone's like fleeing from here now. I wish I had a rain jacket so like I could step out and do the anemometer shit like they do on the weather tube.
There's so many people just leaving all of a sudden.
Running for the hills.
Yeah.
Here it comes. So I see the fog.
Yep.
No, I'm not doing the camera right now. I'm doing my phone.
Oh, fair enough.
My phone's on 15%. Looks like they canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for now, but there is still a special weather statement.
You got the rain starting. A couple little droplets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess everyone else is sitting it out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Everyone wants their popping up and leaving now. you live here long enough, you probably understand the way the weather works on these marinas.
Ooh, that's kind of close.
Just the wipers. Not great for footage, but better than it being rain.
Is that not really like this is exactly great for footage either?
You should have rain X for your windshield.
Yeah.
I was gonna say not too bad so far, but looking out there, out over here where the wind's just not blasting the car,
Yeah.
it's kind of bad.
Honestly, thought the rain was gonna be a little more intense.
Me too. Like it's
I mean, like
strong rain, but
like looking at the
radar,
radar.
I mean, you can see like
it
definitely the
bugs.
focus is went further south.
Yeah,
So let's see what happened.
probably for the better. Just sort of drifted south.
It could have also been. I mean, like the way that just exploded off of the previous storm is incredible. But, like,
Yeah. Huh.
was the cell to the
Looks
south?
like a line of energy just got pushed to south.
Well, actually, look, because it looks like there was a cell coming up already, like aside from this one right here,
Oh.
and maybe
So
like
maybe they're just meeting?
it probably got some of that outflow off of it.
Yeah.
Because like look how it was around here.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that makes sense for why it's forming in front of it then.
Right, it's building along the outflow. That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing what happened is in Maubert, the outflow, like it got eaten up here, and like you can see it kind of disappears on the front edge.
Yeah.
It probably just got like reabsorbed into the storm, but it's starting to push a little there. Actually, we could probably get moving in a few minutes if like
Let's say, yeah, it's already 5:50 down.
getting late.
A little bit.
Yeah, this rain. Alright, I think we're good to go. That was fun.
That was.
Wasn't as intense as I thought it would be, but probably for the better.
After sitting and watching the rain for a few minutes, we decided to start heading back home. In the wake of the line that passed overhead, a large area of stratiform rain was left behind. Stratiform is a phrase used to describe an area of convection that develops more horizontally in the atmosphere rather than vertically. Without the showers and storms reaching nearly as high up into the atmosphere, the rain is much less intense, but overall more consistent over a wider area. A steady rain accompanied us the entire drive home, and for a few more hours following the thunderstorm's passage. Mother Nature had one more surprise up her sleeve for us, however. Just as we were around 5 minutes from home, we managed to capture one of the most wicked lightning bolts I've ever seen, and at a pretty close range at that.
Thanks, dude. My window needed a good washing. Nice little quick one. Oh yeah, there we go. I would think that was on camera, right?
I hope. I didn't see it show up in the window, but like it was in frame, so.
Yeah, it was like just.
After we got home, I decided to leave the camera outside for a few more minutes. Even though the heaviest of the storm had shifted well to our southeast, we were still hearing quite a lot of thunder. These rumbles of thunder would last for around another 30 minutes, with occasional lightning strikes occurring within the area of stratiform rain over the county.
We got home, and the cell that was, kind of positioned over our part of the county was starting to weaken, while a heavier precipitation core was moving towards our east, towards Green Cove Springs. But for some reason, the lighter part that was left behind is actually still producing a lot of lightning. I mean, you'll see I got a shot a moment ago, hopefully, and also now, we're still hearing thunder, pretty big booms of thunder, and some flashes of lightning, so I'll give this a few minutes out here, see what we can do. I don't really have the best angle for, southern angles, but it is what it is.
June 28th saw some pretty significant weather impacts around the First Coast region. Locally, a flood advisory was issued for east central Clay County due to heavy rainfall. The advisory stated that around 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain had fallen at the time the advisory was issued, and that another 1 to 2 inches of rain could fall. However, with the stratiform rain overhead, it was difficult for more heavy showers and storms to develop in the wake of the main thunderstorm of the day. At home, we recorded 0.91 inches of rain. Another notable patch of rain occurred in rural areas of Alachua County between the town of High Springs and the city of Gainesville. According to radar, nearly a half foot of rain fell throughout the day. A flood advisory was issued for Alachua and parts of Gilchrist counties around 4 p.m., lasting until 7 p.m. At the time the advisory was issued, between 2 to 3 inches of rain had already fallen. As I mentioned in the intro, there was quite a large amount of strong thunderstorms across the First Coast throughout the day on June 28th. Unfortunately, some of these storms did manage to produce some damage, primarily in Nassau and Duval counties. At 2:16 p.m., NWS Jacksonville issued a severe thunderstorm warning for a large storm that was over the southeastern portions of Jacksonville. The warning was issued with the threat of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, with the warning also having a tornado possible tag. 4 minutes later, a tornado warning was issued for the same cell. At this time, a decently well-defined couplet can be seen on radar. Taking a look at the correlation coefficient radar, a small debris ball can be seen at 2:22 p.m. A few hours later, a damage survey was conducted and evidence of an EF1 tornado was found. According to the report from MWS Jacksonville, a brief tornado was spawned as a result of numerous mesoscale boundary collisions, including outflow from previous thunderstorms, the Atlantic sea breeze, and the St. Johns River breeze. The tornado lasted for 10 minutes, with peak wind speeds estimated to reach 100 miles per hour. The primary forms of damage were snapped trees and downed power lines. Thankfully, nobody was injured or killed as a result of this tornado. The other notable thunderstorm of the day occurred near the Florida-Georgia border between 3 and 4 p.m. A strong thunderstorm was given a severe thunderstorm warning at 3:09 p.m., with the primary threat being 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Taking a look at the velocity radar, a very clear swath of strong winds is seen crossing the Florida-Georgia border around 3:15. The swath looks particularly intense as it begins to cross into Georgia and over the town of Kingsland. The storm remained strong as it blasted across I-95 before weakening towards the 4 p.m. hour. While I wasn't able to find any images, damage from this storm was reported to the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center. A tree was reported to have fallen on a car in the town of Waverly as well. Thankfully, though, no injuries were reported from this storm. And that's all we have for y'all today. While June 28th was not a great day for our lightning photography, there was still plenty of amazing sights to be seen and plenty to learn from the variety of thunderstorms we saw around our area. There is still more to cover in future videos as thunderstorms continued to affect the First Coast region through the end of June. Thank you for watching, we hope you enjoyed the video and maybe even learned something new. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe as it lets us know that you enjoy what we do on this channel. We'll see you in the next one.